Dalovina guia dolosana angito talita kini ana warong ng Bula FM e Golden Point Resort basendo nambando ana here binaka.
Bula binaka na dang kotevita utu ngoi 90 ando talita wale warong ng Bula FM nambando ana ser.
Na dang ko makilesi werkraki NSB ng Bula FM nambando ana ser.
Hello nga ratu kitchen ngotabo ando talita na warong ng Bula FM nambando ana ser ngo lusu.
Bula FM number 2 NSR.
This is FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. In this bulletin, Tropical Cyclone Winston moves closer to Fiji. Authorities on alert, monitoring TC Winston, and free textbooks being delivered to schools around Fiji. Tropical Cyclone Winston has been downgraded to a Category 2 system as it re-enters the Fiji waters. On its projected path, Winston is expected to pass through the southern Lao waters with winds up to 45 knots. Madhyam Bolaitamana has more.
Despite Tropical Cyclone Winston being downgraded from its Category 4 status overnight, the weatherman warns that southern Viti Levu, Kandavu, the Lomai Viti group and southern Lao aren't out of the woods yet.
Kandavu and nearby smaller islands, southern Viti Levu, northern Lao and Lomai Viti group. Moderate to fresh westerly winds, gusty at times, winds increasing to strong with average wind speeds of 45 kilometers per hour and momentary gusts up to 80 kilometers per hour.
Around midday today, the system was located near 22.7 degrees south and 179.8 degrees east of Onailau. In other words, Tropical Cyclone Winston was 440 kilometers south-southeast of Kandavu, moving east-northeast at 22 kilometers per hour. Close to its center, the system is estimated to have average winds of 110 kilometers per hour with gusts up to 155 kilometers per hour.
So, yes, the winds are picking up and we expect more stronger winds due to damaging gale force winds and even storm force winds to be experienced overnight, tonight and tomorrow.
The Weather Office has stressed that mariners and those living in maritime regions need to take the necessary precautions.
The message is be prepared to embrace strong winds, damaging gale force winds as well as storm force winds. For the rest of Fiji, we are just saying it will be a moderate to strong winds and we'll have some occasional rain which will be slowly easing off as the system moves further to the east.
Tropical Cyclone Winston is expected to continue on its trek away from the Fiji group in the next 24 hours towards Tonga. Madhyam Bolaitamana, FBC News.
Schools in the Lao group have been closed as strong winds and heavy rain begin to affect the islands as Tropical Cyclone Winston slowly approaches. The National Disaster Management Office is monitoring the situation and has been in touch with villages in the Lao group. Farzan Anisha has more.
The National Disaster Management Office is closely watching the movement of Tropical Cyclone Winston and issuing advisories as need be. Acting Director Kapusito Ifangalele says the concern tonight is the Lao group, where the effect of Tropical Cyclone Winston will intensify overnight.
Already been in contact with some of the villages in Onilau and also in Vatoa. We also have got information from the Ministry of Education that for schools in Onilau they have already been closed because of the strong winds and the heavy rain that have followed, and similarly with Vatoa. I have requested for the Ministry of Education to liaise very closely with the schools, and if there is a need be for the safety of the children, for them to close and to open when it is clear again.
Minister for Disaster Management Inia Siroiratu has told FBC News that all 4 divisional commissioners have been directed to activate their teams in preparation for Tropical Cyclone Winston. Siroiratu says Fijians in vulnerable areas need to act now.
Preparation, that's always critical. We prepare well and we will minimize the damages, and of course we'll keep the risks to a minimum level. Take heed of the advice given by the officials and of course the weather office as well. We need to prepare when weather permits, particularly during the daylight hours, and if people need to move to safer places, they need to do that. It's always good to prepare rather than feeling sorry later when it becomes too late.
The National Disaster Management Office continues to monitor Tropical Cyclone Winston. With the cyclone expected to move closer to Fiji in the coming days, people are being advised to be vigilant and take all necessary precautions. Razana Nisha, FBC News.
Fijian peacekeepers serving in Sinai can expect changes in their deployment routine. Republic of the Fiji Military Forces Acting Commander Rear Admiral Viliame Poto told FBC News that this is for the safety reasons and plans that have already been drafted. Savara Tumbua has more.
The National Force and observers in Sinai will ensure that Fijian peacekeepers are safe from attacks in the Middle East. Rear Admiral Nopoto says with increased violence, including groups such as ISIS, the MFO isn't taking any chances.
It's really a reconfiguration from the way we are deployed right now. There's a movement of where we're going to serve, but generally it is in the northern AO.
MFO Director General David Satterfield is on an official visit to Fiji and has commended the work of Fijians in what is one of the most volatile areas in the world.
The challenges in the Sinai in recent years have been exceptional, but the performance of Fijian troops, their courage, their dedication, their commitment to the peacekeeping mission.
Major General Satterfield also laid a wreath at the National War Memorial site this morning to commemorate those fallen heroes who died in Sinai while on duty. He was also accorded a guard of honor and a traditional welcome ceremony at QEB. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
A 29-year-old man has been charged with 2 counts of rape for allegedly raping his 7-month-old daughter. The alleged incident had been happening since October last year in a village in the interior of Nandi. The matter came to light after the man was confronted by his wife. Meanwhile, the Fiji Women's Crisis Centre admits there's a lot of work still to be done to protect children, girls and women. FWCC Coordinator Shamima Ali says this is a shocking incident.
There's still a lot more work to be done because violence against women, girls and children is so ingrained in people's psyche. It has been around for so long and hidden for a long time. And around that are also the misconception, the false ideas, the myths about why these things happen. And often blaming mothers, blaming the women, blaming the girls to whom it is happening, and rather than blaming the perpetrator.
The baby is being cared for by the Social Welfare Department. Coming up after the break, LTA received over 5,000 complaints against PSV drivers.
Yandra, I love listening to Gold FM at Golden Point Resort. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Hola, my name is General from Recreative Village. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic.
I'm Moses from Valeu. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Marita Manako. I'm from Kandavu. I like listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Filipa from Tavo Town. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. All schools will receive their free textbooks within 2 weeks' time. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says they have been distributing the books for the past 3 weeks and the remaining schools will get theirs soon. Ritika Pratap reports.
Apart from hard copies of textbooks, the Education Ministry also has copies downloaded on about 4,500 flash drives.
We have loaded all textbooks on those flash drives. We are now giving it to schools, 25 flash drives each, to give it to students who can take it home and load it. As well as we have got the soft copies of all textbooks loaded on home page, which means it's not the textbooks access is not there, but the hard copy, there was a shortage.
Dr. Mahendra Reddy says the shortage is also being faced as many students haven't returned their copies from last year, while some books aren't in good condition.
That data was only available in end of November. When the school closed, then the data came. So that is something that this year we are talking to the school heads how to ensure what the school heads need to do to ensure that we receive textbooks back in good condition.
The minister says a circular has also been sent to school heads that teachers should be using their textbooks for lessons so that classes aren't affected. He has encouraged students to use soft copies.
You will see students carrying a heavy load of textbooks to school. So that's what eventually we'll have to move towards, to digital literacy. And at that particular point in time, when students have a laptop each, they won't be given a hard copy anyway. So we are moving towards that.
The free textbook initiative was launched last year. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
More than 9,000 complaints have been received since the Land Transport Authority launched its toll-free line. LTA Chief Executive Naisatu Inadeva says the majority of complaints are against public service vehicle drivers. Kelly Vadala files this report.
More than 5,000 complaints have been lodged against bus, taxi and minibus drivers since the 582 tax platform last year. LTA CEO Naisatu Inadeva says they are worried about the conduct of PSV drivers.
We are extremely concerned and very unhappy about some of the conduct of these PSV drivers. We continue to receive complaints from the public about some of the attitude, especially of these bus and taxi drivers.
The CEO has demanded that PSV drivers change their attitude or they will lose their license.
So the PSV drivers, we've been telling them all along we've been telling them all this time, listen, they are just public servants. When you came, to get a group 3, a group 4 and a group 5, these all categories are all for public service vehicles, okay? You want it. So you must be prepared to serve the public, right? You must know, how to give out service to the public. The conduct is there is very clear. When they do come for their tests and the exams and the training throughout, including the defensive driving certificate, they have been explained the rule of the game, right? Their conduct is very, very important. There is a dress code to be followed, the mannerism, and all about having a good customer service attitude and behavior towards customers. That is part of that license.
PSV drivers are reminded to strictly follow the PSV Code of Conduct, as their job is under scrutiny at all times. The public is urged to text complaints to 582. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Thailand's Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives, General Chachai Sarikulya, is on an official visit to Fiji. Fisheries and Forests Minister Ratu Seenaingamu yesterday received the minister at the Nadi International Airport last night. General Chachai this morning met with Agriculture Minister Ratu Inieseri Ratu as a follow-up to an MOU signed last year. A working group which includes the Crop and Livestock Council, the private sector and some government officials has also been set up.
We're looking at technical assistance and of course in the areas of value addition, and we look forward to the expertise provided by the Thai government in helping us in this area for Fiji. We are looking at modernization and industrialization of the agriculture sector, and for that to happen we need to rely on the expertise.
And in sports now, here's Jamie with all the very latest.
Nakajaki, and good evening. Coming up, FBC TV to bring you live Super Rugby matches. And we hear Jose Colinisao's thoughts on the evolution of Sevens Rugby. This and more after the break.
मैं हूँ रेहान खान कुरबो तालेबू के जैसे फेस्टिवल आई ग्रेड है कुरबो में उसी तरह मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है कुरबो में
एलिन लटका में मिर्ची एफएम को लॉक कर दिया जाए मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट
हम नकाशी से साइमान है हमारा फेस्टिवल जैसे नंबर 1 है वैसे मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है
माय नेम इज दिनेश हम नेंडी में काम करता है स्लीपिंग जायंट जिपलाइन में और मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट आई लाइक इट
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट.
As mentioned before the break, for the first time, viewers on FBC TV will get to watch live Super Rugby matches. The announcement comes at an ideal time for rugby fans with the 2016 season kicking off in less than a fortnight.
We are
absolutely over the moon about it because, Super Rugby is something that is extremely popular. And rugby, as you know, is one sport that brings the nation together. Everyone gets together to watch rugby, especially coupled with the fact that a lot of Fijians play provincial rugby in New Zealand, some in Australia. 2 live matches each week for the whole season, which is from February 26th to 6th of August. That's quite something for rugby fans in Fiji. We're very excited. We'll have one ITM Cup game per week from the 18th of August to the 28th to the 29th of October. These are the provincial matches from New Zealand. In fact, in the ITM tournament, there are yet more Fijians who are playing in those teams, in the provincial teams.
Now, the game of sevens rugby is not as it was a decade ago. Speaking on FBC TV's Vodafone Sports Lounge, Fiji Sevens captain Jose Colinisau says competition is much more tougher and no team can be taken lightly. Rohit Deo has more.
Gone are the days when less experienced teams or minnows could easily be beaten on the World 7 Series. Vodafone Fiji Sevens captain Jose Colinisau has found over the years that teams these days are well prepared and can never be counted out.
7 is not like it was 10 years ago, where you have these Tier 1 countries in sevens, powerhouses, Fiji, New Zealand, South Africa, where you can actually rest players in pool games, and when you see easy games, it's like, okay, we'll rest this set of players, we play this set of players, but it's getting really hard now. You can't even look ahead the team that you're facing. See USA knocking out New Zealand 3 times when the series started, and Canada knocked New Zealand out. So it just says that the series has jumped up another level.
Get back lift on, make sure we get a lift defensively on that line out. With sevens rugby debuting at the Olympic Games this year, a lot of teams are pumping more money into the shortened code. Colinisau says competition for this year's World 7 Series title is the best that's ever been.
We told it last year that this year is going to be a very exciting but tough tournament because it's a lead up towards the Olympic, and every team wants momentum towards Rio, and what better way to get momentum than winning the series.
On his right-hand side,
the Fiji Sevens team moves into camp this week to prepare for the Las Vegas and Vancouver legs of the World 7 Series. Fiji is pooled with Argentina, Samoa and France for the tournament in USA. It will be played from the 5th to the 7th of next month. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Organizers of the West 7 Series want to create a new platform for players itching to don the national jumper for the Rio Olympics. The inaugural competition will be Fiji's first local 7 Series and will be played over 6 legs. Josephine Navula has the details.
With the first leg starting next week, 45 teams have been confirmed for the West Sevens tournament.
West Sevens tournament, right now for the 4 categories. The first men categories, we have 24 teams confirmed. For the second men categories, we have 12 teams. For the under 20, we have 6 teams, and the women, we have 3 teams.
Organized by West Events, the tournament hopes to develop rugby sevens in a professional manner, staging a series of tournaments under the West Sevens banner. Bill Tanranu says they are confident of achieving more than just that.
This is the Olympics, and we need to move into that direction of, transforming the game of sevens in Fiji professionally, not only inside the field but outside the field in terms of managing the rugby sevens club in Fiji.
With Spain being the first international team to confirm its participation, organizers are hoping more overseas teams will come over.
Spain is the overseas team confirmed at the moment. Let's see how it goes this week till Friday. For now, we only have Spain's team as the overseas team hopping on board to our first 97s tournament, West Sevens. Yeah.
The first leg of West 7 Series will be held next weekend at Prince Charles Park in Nandi. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
The Nandi football team hopes to return with its full squad at this week's Premier League after missing 2 players in the last game due to injuries. Midfielder Munit Krishna is sick and under medical supervision, while veteran Eliki Rabusai suffered a knee injury after the Pillay Garments Champion vs Champion series. Team President Navnida Gaunda says the team is not certain on their availability, but will continue to treat every game as a final.
We'll give a good game, and it's upon the boys to perform on the day, and
hopefully that we come out victors.
The Lambasa football side leads the points table after the first round of the Vodafone Premier League over the weekend. The Mbamba Lions overpowered Reketi 6-0 to inch ahead of Mba, Nandi and Suva on points difference. Lambasa is on a bye in round 2 this weekend, while Suva will host Reketi at 7:30 p.m. on Friday at NZ Stadium. On Sunday in a double-header at Nandi's Prince Charles Park, Nandrunga plays Mba at 2 p.m. while Lautoka takes on Nandi at 4 p.m. In another match on Sunday, Rewa will host Reketi at 3 p.m. at Ratu Dakambao Park. In the English Premier League today, Arsenal defeated Leicester City 2-1. The Gunners had to come from a goal down to secure the crucial 3 points in one of the toughest title races of all time. And what an epic win for the Gunners. That's your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Civil Aviation Minister Ayaz Said Qayyum is attending the Aviation Leadership Summit 2016 hosted by the Singapore government. Said Qayyum has informed the International Civil Aviation Organization to review the indicators for the reduction in carbon emissions. Said Qayyum says the aviation industry must take into account the total carbon emission footprint of a country and not just from a particular industry, in this case the aviation sector. He also informed the forum that Parliament has approved the ratification of the Paris Agreement last week. Wananavu Beach Resort has been recognized as a winner in the Fiji Top 10 Hotels and Resorts category of the 2016 TripAdvisor Traveller's Choice Awards for hotels. The resort is ranked 5th out of 10 in the category. TripAdvisor highlights the world's top properties based on the millions of reviews and opinions collected in a single year from travelers around the globe. Winners were identified in the categories of top hotels, bargain, B&Bs and inns, luxury, service and small hotels. As Tropical Cyclone Winston passes south of the main islands and threatens the Lau group, most of Fiji today had a mixture of cloudy skies with light scattered showers and brisk winds. The temperatures were in the low 30s, with Suva the warmest at 35, followed by Sabu Sabu at 34. Other major centres were a little cooler at 31 and 32. Tomorrow we can expect a continuation of today's conditions as Tropical Cyclone Winston continues to affect our weather with brisk winds and an increasing possibility of thunderstorms. And looking ahead to Wednesday, expect more uncertain weather with gusty winds and rain as the distant cyclone Newton continues to impact on local conditions. At sea, mariners are warned of winds with gusts up to 80 knots within 80 miles of the hurricane, very high seas and damaging swells. For the Kandavu Passage, southwest Viti level waters, the Koro Sea and northern Lau waters, winds with gusts to 40 knots are expected from tonight, along with rough to very rough seas. And recapping the main stories for tonight, Tropical Cyclone Winston is slowly approaching Fiji and initial effects are being felt in the Lau group. Authorities have been advised people in all vulnerable areas to take precautions, and Education Ministry continues to hand out free textbooks. Results from last week's poll question we had asked, is the Fiji Sevens team on track to winning gold at the Rio Olympics? 59% answered yes. This week we are asking, after reports of a 7-month-old baby being raped, the question is, are we doing enough to protect children from sexual predators? Visit our FBC website to take part. And before we leave, a quick advisory. Our 6 radio stations will bring updates on Tropical Cyclone Winston throughout the night with hourly updates. Join any of our stations for all the information. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Stay safe.